Among the great clubs that once conquered Europe, there is one name that disappeared from the competitive map: Nottingham Forest. This club was not just a temporary success story. They lifted the Champions League trophy twice in a row. But like many football fairy tales, glory never lasts forever. Once, they were the kings of Europe. Then, they vanished. Nearly 4 decades have passed. Now, Nottingham Forest is trying to rewrite its history, but the road back is filled with obstacles. This is not just another comeback story. This is a fight against the ghosts of their past. There was a time when Nottingham Forest didn't just compete in Europe, they dominated it. Under the legendary Brian Clough, they won the Champions League in 1979 and 1980, as well as the First Division title in 1978, a feat that even giants like Tottenham and Arsenal have never achieved. But success is fragile. Over time, poor management, bad transfer decisions, and constant coaching changes sent them spiraling downward. In 1999, Forest was relegated from the Premier League, and they didn't just drop one level, they fell further into League One, the third tier of English football. City Ground, once a fortress, became a relic of past glories. Fans who once celebrated European victories had to face the harsh reality. Their team was struggling just to make it back to the top flight. Nottingham Forest's return wasn't a fairy tale that happened overnight. It took time, it took patience, it took resilience. In 2022, after 23 years in the lower divisions, they finally secured promotion to the Premier League. But that was only the beginning. Survival at the top level was an even greater challenge. Their first season back was full of chaos. A poor start, massive spending on transfers, and the looming threat of relegation. Yet one thing separated Forest from other promoted teams: they refused to give up. This season, under Nuno Espírito Santo, Forest is starting to rediscover its true character. City Ground is roaring once again. A new hope is rising. The same fighting spirit that once took them to the top is coming back. How did Forest rise from the depths of football? There are 3 key factors behind their resurgence. After years of instability, Nottingham Forest has begun to show signs of improvement in club management. Under the ownership of Evangelos Marinakis, decisions are no longer made in haste, although coaching changes still occur. The decision to replace Steve Cooper with Nuno Espírito Santo in December 2023 shows that they are still balancing continuity with performance demands. However, compared to the past decade, when Forest changed managers almost every season, the club is now more cautious in determining its long-term direction. In their first season back in the Premier League, Forest signed over 30 players, a strategy that created significant challenges in building a cohesive team. However, after a tough learning experience, they have started to adopt a more selective approach in the transfer market. Players like Morgan Gibbs-White and Taiwo Awoniyi have proven to be key pieces in the team's system, while new signings, such as Anthony Elanga and Murillo, indicate a stronger focus on tactical fit. Although Forest remains active in the transfer market, they are no longer making mass signings without a clear plan. Under Nuno Espírito Santo, Nottingham Forest is working toward a more pragmatic style of play. While results have been mixed, there are improvements in defensive structure and counter-attacking effectiveness. Compared to Steve Cooper's era, Forest now prioritizes defensive organization and quick transitions, rather than open play football that often left them exposed. They have yet to reach the stability level of Wolves under Nuno at their peak, but signs of progress are visible. If they can find consistency, Forest has the potential to develop into a more competitive Premier League side. From a team that once conquered Europe to one nearly forgotten, Nottingham Forest is now looking toward the future. They are not at the top yet, but one thing is certain: Forest is no longer just a shadow of the past. Can they survive? Can they return to European competition? Or is this just a brief resurgence before fading once again? One thing is certain, Nottingham Forest is back, and they refuse to be just another story in the history books.